Yeah, what I see happening is a police state developing, but it's a police state that relies on our consent. If you are consenting to this police state without any awareness that you're doing it, then to you it's going to look like a tyranny, but it's not a tyranny. It's a very well defended deception where the people who are still presently deceived are the ones who are going to be defending the deception. Who here considers himself a free man? Who's served their notice and claims? Who knows about freemanry? Who's talked to their friends about it and family? And what's the reaction you almost always get? You're crazy. The very first step in the 5 stages of freemanry or acceptance of freedom, the very first step seems to be rejection. They will reject it. They will tell you, no, that can't possibly be true. It can't be true, you're wrong, and they will just outright reject it without ever reading anything. And you ask them, do you have a driver's license? Oh, yes, I do. Did you read the Motor Vehicle Act before or after you got your license? Oh, well, I never read it. So why did you apply for a license under it? This is how they use our own ignorance against us, and that's why they're starting to get so arrogant, because they look at us like little kids. And Pascal was talking about it. It's true. The stages of your person. Essentially what they're doing is they're getting you to convert rights by way of submission of an application and through a registration process. Your person. A lot of people in Bursting Bubbles in the Magnificent Deception, I refer to the person as a raincoat, which you can take off. I don't know that I should have done that, because then people try claiming that they're in a relationship or an association with their person, and now they're acting as agent for their person, and it's not me. It doesn't quite work like that. Your person is that legal subject or substance of which the rights and duties are attributes, and it is a result of you being in an association with the government. So if you try claiming I'm acting as an agent for my person, now you're trying to change unilaterally the relationship you are in and the association and what your rights and duties are already agreed to, and it doesn't work. If you imagine a husband and a wife, and the husband goes out and he has sex outside of the bounds of marriage, and he comes back and he says, but it wasn't your husband having sex, it was just the man acting under an agreement with the husband. It doesn't fly. Your person evidences you as being in an association, a marriage. Now you can divorce yourself from it, but you can't step back and forth and in and out. You could maybe unilaterally, you could tell them, listen, I'm divorcing you unless I get steak every Thursday. You could maybe make demands, but I see no legal mechanism that allows someone to try to act as an agent for their person. The person defines your previous relationship. Now what I see happening is when you're born, at that point in time, you are sovereign. You own this land as much as anyone else. You are a child of God and you're right there. But then you get, as he said, a name and a number. At this point in time, they are establishing a trust for you. Because you are one of the richest people this country, this planet has ever known. When you look at the value of Canada concerning its natural resources, when you look at how many people those natural resources are divided up amongst, when you look at the stability of our system and the basic decency of the people who live here, you end up realizing, holy mackerel, we're all sitting on top of the world. We are extraordinarily well off. What they do is they set up a trust where they're going to take care of this for you. And it's kind of like you're born into a rich family and you have a babysitter, but the parents are away and you inherit stock, say in Microsoft. What they end up doing is they hold on to that and they administer it for you. You're no longer the stockholder, you're the stock owner with someone else holding it in trust. They administer it, and that means when the dividends flow, it flows to the holder and not to you, and they're supposed to use those dividends for your benefit. And they do that to a certain degree for your hospitals, your roads, and everything else, your infrastructure, but they don't tell you where it goes, and they certainly dig at it like muskrats, man, for their goodies. Have you ever seen some of their offices? It's not like they're going poor. They get the lion's share out of all of this, and what you can do, what people have been doing quite successfully, who here has a student loan? You can use that to discharge a student loan. You order them to take money from that. Don't go putting it over here, pay off my student loan. There's a process for it. I'm not going to go into it, but if you watch the other videos, It is out there on YouTube. Essentially, you do have the right to an education. They have a duty to provide it through the progressive introduction of free education. They have done so in the form of easily accessible loans, which are very quickly set off or discharged by way of set off or a deduction. So if they say, here's a loan, and just go over there, pick that up, and you sign the loan off, they have done what they said they would do, but they've hidden it in a way where most people are not even aware of it. The other problem that I had, once they've got that, once they've established the trust, what's the next level? They get you to submit an application for a social insurance number. My position is that social insurance number makes you an employee of the federal government. It's because of that number that you are now bound to pay them income tax. Who here has ever gone to a day job, kind of a day place? Job agency where you sit there, you wait, someone calls up, yeah, we've got work for you, you run off. You've got to give them some of your money, don't you? Why? Because you didn't get hired as an employee by that other company. You got hired as an agent of this employee for this other company. And that is exactly what the government does. When you apply for a job using your social insurance number, you are deemed to be an agent for the federal government working under their agreement and their rules. Where do you get yours in? Human Resources Canada. Every other company, Human Resources, deals with employees. Why would Canada be any different? You need it to pay into Canada Pension Plan. Pension payment is a function of being an employee. The courts have ruled only employees pay into a pension plan. Paying into it is evidence of employee status. Remember when they used to call it unemployment insurance? Then they just arbitrarily changed the name to employment insurance? Because they're ensuring you're always employed because you're an agent for the federal government. This is how that works. Now, if you decide to operate from that status, all of these rules and bylaws, acts and statutes and regulations are going to be applicable to you, and they wouldn't otherwise be applicable to you. You can abandon your social insurance number at any time, and if you do, you no longer have an account with CRA. That is your account number. Excuse me. I went up once and talking to this agent. Oh, he wanted me so bad. And he starts talking, and I went in to try to help someone out, so he comes out with 2 files. There was only one, his and then mine apparently. And the guy just chews through this one. They were trying to claim this guy owed like $30,000. He was agreeing to pay like $2,300. They agreed to that in no time, and then they said, well, let's look at your file now. He was almost drooling. I said, that's not my file. Yes, this is your file. I said, no, it's not. Yes, it is. Really? Let's test that. Give it to me. Are you going to give me that? No, then stop referring to it as mine. It's clearly not mine. They say, well, this is a file for your account. I said, that's not my account. I said, yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Let's test it. Is there a social insurance number associated with that account? Yes, there is. Well, that's proof it's not mine. I don't have a social insurance number. Yes, you do. No, I don't. Yes, you do. No, I don't. Let's test it. I pulled out the Bill of Rights. I said, right here it says the right of association. That tells me I have the right to not associate, and I'm telling you I am not associated with any social insurance number. Now what do you say? He didn't like that too much. I ended up writing him a letter, and I wasn't as nice as I could have been. He was seen at a couple of other freedom-loving people who put on talks. And then the poor guy, he committed suicide. He killed himself. I think he was an agent for the wrong side. He finally realized it, and the poor guy took his life.